Streets reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady Lake. Y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News report. So Thursday night, first off, thank y'all for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you go to blackfilesnews.com/shop, support the movement. Get yourself an Earth Day hoodie like this, you know, with the logo on it. But we got these in different colors, shapes, and sizes too. And I mean, anything to match your wardrobe and keep you swaggy, man. Make sure you check that out. Support us as we continue to support y'all. Now, last night or Thursday, they actually had the presidential debate. This was supposed to be the third and final presidential debate, but Trump backed out the last one because they wanted to have it remotely because his sick ass tested for coronavirus positive. So he refused to do that. So instead they had 2 town hall meetings. They encountered as a debate. This being the second one, they actually talked about racism. You're talking about climate change, the healthcare system, a U.S. immigration policy, you know, the pandemic response, of course, because that his sick ass is like, how you gonna act like you're gonna downplay the pandemic? In the very last debate, he actually made fun of Joe Biden for wearing a mask so much, and motherfucker caught COVID. Like this is crazy. But you know, you can look that up. Trump kept mistaking his healthcare plan for Bernie Sanders' healthcare plan. You know what I mean? Biden, like, you know, I beat him because I thought different. I thought that was wrong. I thought differently. Like, I don't know. He might have a point on that on the technical front, but Bernie Sanders still got the best joint with the Medicare for all. But Trump is, you know, doing the fear-mongering thing, saying that, you know, y'all need to be scared because he's gonna get rid of your Medicare or whatever. That's not true. He wants to get rid of he wants to put in a government-run public option to Obamacare plan, because Obamacare plan, everybody just supposed to pay into it. So, you know, that's how they on it. You could look up the debate. I might debate them myself. You know, Bishop Grady representing the Graduation Party. But, you know, I mean, I'm still pondering on whether it's worth my time. But we moving over there. So you definitely go to subscribe and create a profile, blackfilesnews.com/LPAI. That's an acronym for Let's Post About It. And we could post about it, you dig? We'll upload videos, computer programs, Excel sheets, and, you know what I mean, real data. So check that out. Green Wall and Graduation. Reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News report. 71,000 new coronavirus infections on Thursday alone. That is one of the highest infection tolls in the United States since, you know what I mean, throughout the whole pandemic. It's the death toll to the infections ain't as high as it used to be, but people gonna move off them infections, and people are worried about them, and then some people don't give a fuck about them and keep spreading this shit. So everybody stay woke, stay focused, and most of all, stay positive. Green Wall and Graduation. Reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News report. Got a little nippy out here, but check this out. Over in North Dakota, they actually had to suspend efforts of contact tracing as it was like a crazy backlog with the National Guard soldiers that were assigned to trace people who was contracting COVID-19. Now, this is a state where there are only 14 ICU beds available right now. 14. That means if there's a wild, crazy night where 15 motherfuckers have to go to the hospital, they ain't gonna have enough beds. You know what I'm saying? And you have to research a study at Johns Hopkins University that said if North Dakota were actually a country, it would have the highest COVID-19 infection per capita out of all the countries in the world. Green Wall and Graduation. Reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News report. So COVID-19 still running rampant in the US of A. Over in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, you actually have a field hospital out there because of the overflow of patients going into the hospitals due to COVID-19. Well, that field hospital in particular admitted its first patient. So there goes that outpouring, that overflow. As you were talking about a state that actually is seeing record high levels of COVID-19 infection rates. You have over in Utah, the governor, Gary Herbert, actually said that their state is actually at or near its capacity as far as the healthcare system goes. Now, over in Boston, the school superintendent actually canceled plans to start in-person learning. So they're sticking to virtual learning over in Boston, Massachusetts. And then in Houston, teachers at dozens of schools staged a sick-out protest demanding like basically better safety precautions for COVID-19, you know, more spaced out classes, social distancing, mask wearing, fewer students in the class and just more ventilation. So people are becoming worried about the spread of this disease. Even though the death rates aren't as high as when we were really worried, right now the infection rates are crazy. Green Wall and Graduation. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report, man. Make sure you support the movement at blackfilesnews.com/shop. You get yourself some gear, paraphernalia that can actually go with anything in your wardrobe. You know what I'm saying? You can get this Earth Day hoodie right here, whatever, or you can get it with the alternate red logo. A lot of mixing and matching you can do. Keep you swaggy and support us as we continue to support y'all. Now, the Federal Drug Administration, the Food and Drug Administration, pardon me, has actually approved remdesivir as the first COVID-19 treatment in the United States. Now, it's crazy that, especially the timing of this, because just last week, the World Health Organization, they actually put out a study talking about 2,000 patients or whatever, like a lot of people, studying a lot of people, and concluded that remdesivir, this drug that has been approved by the FDA right now, currently in the US of A, remdesivir does not fight off death, or does not help against death due to COVID-19. They concluded this, having a larger study that has even looked into so it could be some, I would imagine some monetary connections there, some money and some cake and icing that could be made off the top of this up there in the government somewhere. But you know, what do I know? Green Wall and Graduation. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report, man. So how COVID-19 is running rampant in the US of A. It's actually getting busy in Europe too. From across all of it, you see infection rates rising. You have over in Czech Republic right now, that's actually the highest per capita infection rate in the world. And you had the Prime Minister of the Czech Prime Minister, Andrej Babis, to actually apologize and then announce a nationwide lockdown, the second one of the year during this pandemic. And so you have also in Paris, you have the French Prime Minister, Jean Castex, actually broadened the curfew that had been put due to the coronavirus, whatever, one of the mandates. He broadened that curfew to include 46 million people in France. That is 2/3 of the population. You know, he said, you know, to put things simply, it's serious. You know, it's serious in Europe, it's serious in France. So the situation is serious. Green Wall and Graduation. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So in India, you actually see a downturn of daily COVID-19 infection rates. But whereas you had last month, it peaking at 100,000 infections in a day now, but you're still seeing numbers as high as 50,000 infections within a day. You know, India is pretty high on the infection rate list or whatever. And also you have Prime Minister Narendra Modi's party, the BJP party. They've actually promised free vaccine dosages to all residents, but only if he wins the elections on November 10th. So obviously, like, exploiting the pandemic for that, you know what I mean, for healthcare really is completely unethical, you know, just to get political gain. This is out the window in these days and times. I mean, shit, Trump is the president of the United States. Green Wall and Graduation. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady, letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So the Senate Judiciary Committee actually officially confirmed a recommendation that Amy Coney Barrett, this is the Supreme Court Justice nominee that was hand-selected by Donald Trump, former Notre Dame professor, somebody who was actually has been known to give talks at pro-life events, and people fear that she's actually going to bring an abortion bias, anti-abortion bias, and an anti-climate change bias into the Supreme Court. Nevertheless, Amy Coney Barrett has been recommended and to be on the Supreme Court justices. Now you have the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell that's actually going to have a Senate confirmation hearing on a vote on it as early as Monday. But within the Judiciary Committee, I mean, you had 12. The vote was 12-0 after Lindsey Graham actually, him being the committee chair, actually went ahead against the committee's own rules of having a quorum to actually have votes on matters like this, meaning that, you know, everybody in the committee needs to be there. They just went ahead and did the vote, so it came out 12-0. It's 10 Democrats from the committee boycotted. They boycotted because they know they was going to lose anyway. They were outnumbered, and it's just like, hell, whatever, but they don't want them to push it through. Everybody feels like this is obviously a power grab, because while you could say this is within the rules of Congress, at the same time, you are talking about us being in the middle of a pandemic. There are coronavirus pandemic relief packages that Senate has not agreed on, yet they are trying to rush this woman into the office. It just doesn't seem like it's the right things are in priority. It really seems unethical. Green War and graduation. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So over in Colorado, you actually have two of the state's largest wildfires in history being fought at right now by firefighters. You have the second largest wildfire in that state's history, the East Troublesome Fire, shot up by 100,000 acres on Thursday to 170,000 acres actually being burnt currently, that they have to deal with. But nearby, you have the Cameron Peak Fire, you know, the largest wildfire in the state's history, that's getting battled by the firefighters. You have people in mountain towns like nearby, like, you know, scrambling, trying to get up out of there. You also have a cloud, like plumes of smoke actually hitting the sky, you know, shrouding out the sun, causing orange skies that could be seen as far away as Wisconsin and Minnesota. So, you know, the air quality can't be good in that area. Everybody stay woke. Green Wall graduation. This report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So according to the Guardian, dealing with immigration, there actually last week I reported to y'all that there was 60 Cameroonians and a couple dozen Congolese that were actually deported from Texas, and it was actually said that they were forced to deport, you know, like to sign their deportation papers or whatever. Well, now in this Guardian report, it shows how they were being choked, beaten, pepper sprayed, even receiving death threats. Some were even like handcuffed while they were, the immigration police actually forced them to use their fingerprints to sign these deportee papers instead of their own signatures. So very much just forcing them to get themselves the fuck out of here. A couple of those Cameroonians were two women who were at the Irwin County Detention Center in Georgia that actually feared that they were on the subject of forced sterilization. And in that big case that's going on over there, they actually need to be there for the ongoing case, and they getting deported out of here, whatever. Keep in mind, many of these Cameroonians actually feared that they would be killed upon returning back to their home country. You know what I mean? Dang Africa. But that's what's going down. Green Wall and graduation. Fuck. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So to the LA Times, they actually reporting that over in the Irwin County Detention Center in Georgia, I told y'all about this, but it's official. 19 women have actually alleged that they had gynecological procedures done on them without their consent. Most of these women are asylum seekers from Latin America, Africa, and the Caribbean. Nevertheless, you have these gynecological procedures, including like unnecessary procedures that didn't help or anything, and actually affected their ability to have children. So forced sterilizations is what it's looking like. And there's already a doctor that's actually under being looked at for having done those. You know, they officially made the women there stop seeing this doctor in particular. But man, it gets no more creepier than that. These are asylum seekers, females that's trying to find a better life for themselves from these so-called shithole countries, as Trump would say. Green War and graduation, though. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So The Intercept has actually reported that back in August, Google actually made a deal, was brought in on a deal with Customs and Border Protection, you know, the Department of Homeland Security ultimately. And the deal involves them using Google technology to actually help secure the US-Mexico border wall, where it includes a series of like towers. You're talking about drones, which was already at the border since, you know, Obama's era or whatever. Nevertheless, I guess you're gonna have the Google drones, and then also with sensors. So, and I imagine that they'll also have, you know, some of them robots that Google been working on, because it just says Google technology as a whole. So, but this deal could turn into Google having a lot of information and tracking down a lot of asylum seekers or people that are trying to cross into the United States. We'll see how this turns out. Green wall graduation. For the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So over in Florida, they playing on funny games with these votes again, man. It's always something up with Florida when it comes to federal elections. But here you have the Republican Secretary of State last week actually approved of these two new rules that is having the election officials in Florida being accused of voter suppression in a way that I think is pretty obvious. You know what I mean? Voting Rights Act of 1965, where the fuck are you? You know what I'm saying? But this is the reason why niggas don't vote. First, one of the rules is that anybody with outstanding court fees will be removed from the roll of from the rolls of like registered voters in the state of Florida. And the second rule is that there must be somebody staffed at all of the ballot drop boxes. That is, you know, at 24 hours. So that means that the election officials are actually going to have to restructure how they even have the ballot drop boxes set up just days before the election. Real funny style business that, whereas one maybe with the staff, and you could try to make the argument that you can make the argument that that's protective or whatever, but the outstanding court fees, there's people who are good citizens who don't have their court fees paid for. So the fuck what? The whole court fee, traffic fine, all of that bullshit is predatory anyway. Green wall and graduation, y'all. For the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So the Supreme Court SCOTUS actually overturned a ruling that will basically allow for a ban to stay in place in Alabama against drive-in voting. That was actually set up so that you could protect citizens with disabilities in their voting, using their voting rights during the pandemic. But at the same time, you have over in Texas, the state Supreme Court actually ruled that, you know, that it is okay to use drive-in voting. So they're going to reinstate that in Texas. So we'll see, you know, the different states treating it in different ways. Green wall and graduation, man. News reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. 787,000 U.S. residents actually filed for unemployment last week. Now, this is the second lowest weekly total since the pandemic and since March. But it's also high compared to all pre-pandemic levels. So that lets you know we're not over the storm yet, but we, you know, is that unemployment is at least declining, or the rate of new unemployment. But you know, it's only but so many people in America. So far, 62 million U.S. residents have actually lost their jobs between mid-March and mid-September due to COVID-19. So shit is real. You have a report though that was released by Americans for Tax Fairness that revealed that all of the U.S. billionaires actually had a collective wealth jump by $931 billion. Almost $1 trillion was made by the U.S. billionaires during this pandemic. That's just to give you a visual of what's going on and where the money is going. Also, 22 million Americans actually reported not having enough food for real by this, and that was found out in the same report by the Americans for Tax Fairness. Everybody stay woke, stay on point, and go ahead and get you some bread, man. Green wall and graduation. Streets reporter of the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So an executive order by Donald Trump has actually just been signed that will actually give him the power to easily hire and fire tens of thousands of federal workers. A lot of people, you have federal worker union leaders that are describing this as an attack on their liberties as workers and federal employees, but this actually allows the president to crack down on people that may even be critical of him, like for example, you know, getting somebody fired, a public health official who disagrees with how the executive branch is dealing with the coronavirus, something like that. This person could be, you know, now while the president has already had the power to do so, like when he fired James Coney or whatever, Jeff Sessions, or so many other people, just because he didn't like them and how they made them look, now it kind of allows for it to be legitimate. So we'll see how this, if this plan is, this executive order doesn't get overturned or come with a bunch of lawsuits as a result. Green War and graduation. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So not too long after the Pope from the Vatican actually called for more support for LGBT communities and equal rights as far as marriage equality laws. The president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, this is actually the same dude that the United States is trying to get out of power with their own opposition leader to be president. They even acknowledged a whole nother person as president while Maduro is still there with the power of the military and, you know, the real power as having been president. Even though it's an economy that ran into the ground, nevertheless, you have Nicolas Maduro calling on legislators to actually have discussions on marriage equality in January. So it's seen as a big push, and you know, he even gave a shout out to the Pope for having his own announcement regarding marriage equality. Green War and graduation. Report of the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News report. So over in Poland, the country's highest court actually announced that almost all forms of abortion are unconstitutional. So unless you have an issue with rape, incest, or if it's a threat to the woman's health, you cannot get an abortion in the country of Poland. Now, a lot of people, now you got people saying, you know, they have the worst abortion law in Europe, and you know, Europe already has countries with restrictive abortion laws. Nevertheless, you have protesters marching on the Constitutional building in Warsaw, and you know, it may be a lot of people that are upset with that decision, but that is the decision that was made. Green War and graduation.